2013 was quite a year. The world said goodbye to Nelson Mandela, the Pope resigned due to ill health, Oscar Pistorius was charged with murder, and Andy Murray won the title at Wimbledon. Alongside this, it was also a memorable year for YouTube. For those of you that can cast your minds back that far, you may remember it was a pretty strong year for viral videos. 2013 was the year the Harlem Shake was truly introduced to the world and became one of the biggest internet memes of all time. Also in 2013, Miley Cyrus began her new career in the construction industry, and Norwegian comedy duo Ylvis released the top trending video of the year, What Does the Fox Say? But alongside all these hugely viral hits, another iconic video was released, How Animals Eat Their Food. This unexpected viral monster made by small YouTube channel Mister Epic Mann became one of the most shared videos in the world that year and landed itself as the third most viral video on YouTube in 2013. Despite the fact that it was nearly 8 years ago that the video was released, it recently popped up again and was doing the rounds on TikTok. But what happened to the guys who made it, and where are they now? It's something that I've always been intrigued about. I'm not sure how many people out there would necessarily be interested about it, but it does turn out there's an interesting little story behind the channel and the direction it would take after the video went viral. So I thought I'd give a little YouTube history lesson in this video for those who may be interested and take a look at what exactly happened to Mister Epic Man.
Jimmy? Was that you?
The reason for Nick Schollender's celebrity amongst YouTubers is simple. As a small-time American film student from Virginia, he had the headlines back in 2013 when his viral video, How Animals Eat Their Food, took the internet by storm. From then on, he was simply known as Mister Epic Mann.
The channel Mister Epic Mann was set up by Nick Schollender in 2009 when he was 19 years old. The first video on the channel was of Nick and his friend pranking a neighbour by ringing on their doorbell and hiding. He wouldn't start uploading again regularly until 2012, and the majority of these early videos mainly consisted of short comedy sketches or of Nick making prank phone calls. While the channel didn't have any real identity at the beginning, that would soon change. A video posted on August the 1st of 2012 titled 7 Ways to Stop a Burglar would give us an early taste of the type of content that was to come from the channel.
I'm just a little old lady. Don't rob me, please. Psych. Boom!
The videos up until this point had all been filmed by Nick in his home. However, the next few videos would be set in his college dorm room and would introduce a very important character into the Mister Epic Mann universe.
Ian Dybert was the man who was second in the chain of command for the Mister Epic Mann channel. He made a name for himself for being able to keep a straight face in the most ludicrous of situations. A true soldier to the cause.
Nick had now been uploading consistently to the Mister Epic Mann channel for just under a year and had managed to gain around 30,000 subscribers, but that was soon about to skyrocket into the millions. On the 9th of April 2013, Nick and Ian would spend a grand total of around 4 hours to write, shoot and edit their next video. The video they would upload would be titled How Animals Eat Their Food and would become one of the most iconic comedy skits in internet history.
Want to see how animals eat their food? Watch closely.
Moo.
The video hit 1 million views within an hour, but it didn't stop there. It received 3.5 million shares across Facebook over the next 2 weeks, and hit the 50 million views mark on YouTube not long after. It was also featured across dozens of articles in national newspapers, which added to its viral stardom. The trending page on YouTube was also full of other channels jumping in on the act and making their own versions and parodies of how animals eat their food. For me personally, there was something very likeable and watchable about Nick. There were the occasional times where him and Ian would break character and start laughing, and that was what gave the channel a lot of its personality, and it was that likability that would start to bring in new opportunities for Mister Epic Mann. The huge attention around the video across the globe meant that Mister Epic Mann had gone from 30,000 subscribers to over 2 million in a month, and as a result, some of the big networks came calling. Fullscreen's creator network would end up winning the race, and they actually ended up buying the channel from Nick. However, they would then employ both Nick and Ian to continue making videos for the Mister Epic Mann channel. With Fullscreen now in the driving seat, they were aiming to capitalise on Mister Epic Mann's newfound fame and would start to introduce some larger creators into the videos. How Animals Eat Their Food Part 2 would be released and would also feature some of Fullscreen's biggest talent at that time, including Rhett and Link, Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime, and Jesse and Gina from Prank vs. Prank. These new style of videos involving these collaborations with other YouTubers kept on coming, and only a few months after the success of the original How Animals Eat Their Food, it was clear that Fullscreen's direction and vision for the channel was well off target. They'd started to make the channel a place to promote their own network and creators, and in most cases, there was no sign of Nick and Ian in many of the comedy sketches. The comments section underneath these uploads voiced their dislike for the direction the channel was going and wanted to see more of the original style videos featuring Nick and Ian. Fans started to wonder what was going on and would call on Nick to make a video in order to explain why the channel had lost that original spirit of what made it special in the first place. Fullscreen would respond to the criticism, and they made a video called Mister Epic Mann Reboot, which addressed the problems plaguing the channel.
Without further ado, we are pleased to bring you this message. Mr. Epic Mann is back on schedule.
For the next 4 months after this, the videos only featured Nick and Ian and their roommates Andrew Eckhoff and Jack Mensa of the channel But Seriously Productions. Unfortunately though, the reboot wouldn't last long, and less than a year after the viral stardom of How Animals Eat Their Food, Nick posted a message on Twitter in March of 2014 explaining that he and Ian were leaving the channel. In a Twitter post he said, "To Mister Epic Mann followers, Ian and I left the channel last week. It was a tough decision, but keep on the lookout for new projects." There was no real explanation as to why they were leaving, so fans of Mister Epic Mann were still in the dark as to what had been going on behind the scenes. Fullscreen would continue to post videos featuring different YouTubers, but the damage was done, and gradually the views started to decrease. And at this point, many of the fans that subscribed to see Nick and Ian decided to stop watching the channel or unsubscribed. But it wasn't the last we would see of the comedy duo. After a 5-month hiatus, a new channel revolving around random comedy sketches was set up, called The Men Who Do Nothing. However, as Fullscreen still owned the Mister Epic Mann channel, Nick was unable to use any of his old characters on The Men Who Do Nothing.
I'm just going to my...
What was that?
After posting 2 comedy sketches to the new channel in September of 2014, it unexpectedly went dead. That is until 7 months later in April of 2015, when Nick posted a video finally explaining to the fans exactly what happened to Mister Epic Mann and what had gone on behind the scenes.
So, Mr. Epic Mann had about 30,000 subscribers in April 2013. And then we uploaded How Animals Eat Their Food. And that changed the channel, and that changed my life. Basically, the video went viral. I got like lots of views and stuff. And because of that, a company out in Los Angeles bought the channel. And I was still part of it at that point, but they were like my bosses, basically. Like, I still worked for it, but they owned it. So it was kind of a different feel, and it wasn't quite as organic as when I was just making it by myself, obviously. And I think that's what affected me the most. And overall, I think it was my fault because I just didn't think it through, I guess. Like, you know, I was young and like still in college, and that kind of like made it harder. And then eventually I quit because it was just this tough environment where, you know, I wasn't feeling it, and I didn't want to just keep dragging them down. And, you know, like I said, it's my fault. It's not their fault. So yeah, goodbye.
Fullscreen had made the decision to start posting videos by the men who do nothing on the Mister Epic Mann channel in the hopes of reviving it and helping with the declining viewership. Initially it worked, as Nick and Ian's first video back on the channel, titled "The Doctor Will See You Now," was a success by way of views. Sadly, the occasional comedy sketch by the men who do nothing wasn't enough to save the Mister Epic Mann channel, and by the end of 2015, the videos had started to drop to under 100,000 views per upload. Alongside this, the Men Who Do Nothing channel also came to an end only a year after it had started. To my understanding, Nick seemingly regained control of the Mister Epic Mann channel from Fullscreen in mid-2016, and he decided to give it one last push by uploading a few videos. But sadly, the final upload was posted 4 years ago in February of 2017. So where are they now? Ian is now married with kids and works for a company that crafts stone, and Nick is also married and works with his wife selling plots of land, a far cry from their old days of making comedy sketches on YouTube. Nick does have a YouTube channel dedicated to Rocket League called League of Rockets, but hasn't posted there for nearly 10 months. So to conclude, Mister Epic Mann was a real gem of a channel, as I'm sure many of the old fans will agree with, and while a few of the sketches were a bit hit and miss, the complete randomness and silliness of some of the classic videos they posted was what really made them hilarious. Nick's unpredictability and deadpan delivery mixed in with Ian's talent of somehow being able to keep a straight face in incredibly stupid scenarios seemed to make for a winning combination. It feels as if the channel never truly reached its full potential, despite the fact that How Animals Eat Their Food is now approaching 140 million views. That video for me is one of the last great original comedy videos uploaded to YouTube, and while it was made in 2013, it's got that original spirit that makes me think that it probably would fit in very well with those OG viral videos of YouTube like Afro Ninja and the Evolution of Dance. In the end, Mister Epic Mann's downfall seemed to be a mixture of Fullscreen's very strange vision for the channel, mixed in with Nick struggling to adapt to a pressured work environment at such a young age. Either way, for those who were there when Mister Epic Mann blew up, will certainly have fond memories of the channel and their comedy sketches. Sadly, it didn't reach the heights that it perhaps promised, but it leaves behind a very memorable legacy of having made one of the classic, iconic videos on YouTube. And that is where the story of Mister Epic Mann ends. So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching, and please don't subscribe because I probably won't make one of these videos again.